This happened a few years ago, in the middle of spring. I had taken a few days off work to go camping by myself in a small lake in northern Minnesota. It was a place I'd been to a couple of times before, sometimes with friends, sometimes with family, but this time it was just me. The hike in wasn't bad. 2 hours of mostly flat trail through the woods. I reached the lake by late afternoon and set up my tent a bit into the trees, far enough back that I wasn't right up on the water. After that, I unfolded my camping chair, cracked open a beer, and just listened to the wind moving through the trees and the occasional ripple on the lake. It was peaceful, quiet, almost too quiet, uneasy. As the sun began to set, I built up a fire and sat beside it, thinking about nothing in particular. Usually, I loved nights like this. There's something freeing about being alone in the woods, away from everything. But that night, something felt off. It started subtly, just a strange tension in the air, like the kind you feel when you know someone's staring at you, even though you can't see them. I kept glancing around at the trees and into the dark, half expecting to see something, but there was nothing, no movement, no sound, just silence. I tried to shake it, told myself I was being paranoid, but I couldn't stop the feeling that I was being watched. It wasn't like me to get spooked, but something about this night wasn't right. Eventually, I managed to distract myself, thinking about some stressful things going on in my life. Not a fun distraction, but it worked, for a while anyway. Then, around 10 or 11 p.m., I heard it, a loud crack, like a thick branch being snapped under something heavy. It came from straight ahead, just beyond where the firelight stopped. I froze. It was pitch black out there. I couldn't see a thing, but the sound. It echoed through the trees. It wasn't just some squirrel or raccoon. Whatever it was had weight. I reached into my bag and grabbed my bear spray, then called out, "Hello, someone out there?" No answer. Not even the sound of leaves moving. I waited, listening, trying to pick up on anything, but there was nothing, and somehow that was worse. Eventually, I remembered the flashlight in my pack, fumbled around for it, turned it on, and pointed it out into the woods. Nothing. Just the quiet trees, the empty dark. I started to calm down just a little. I told myself it could have been a deer, a branch falling, something explainable. But I wasn't taking any chances. I threw more wood on the fire to keep the area lit, and every couple minutes I'd flick the flashlight on and scan the trees again. Then, one of those times I saw it. A person standing just at the edge of the beam. Definitely a man. He was tall, really tall, maybe 6'5", maybe more. He wasn't doing anything, just standing there, facing me, and the second my light hit him, he moved, stepped back into the darkness where I couldn't see. My heart dropped. didn't shake. He had been out there the whole time, watching me. I panicked, threw everything I could into my backpack, didn't bother folding the tent, just yanked it out of the ground. I kept my eyes on the trees, but I didn't see him again. I knew the direction he'd moved, so I ran the other way, straight back toward the trail, toward my car. It took a while before I felt safe enough to stop and switch the flashlight back on, this time on its lowest setting. As I walked, my mind raced. Why hadn't he done anything? He was big, easily strong enough to overpower me. Why just stand there and watch? Maybe he was trying to see if I had a weapon. Maybe he was waiting for me to fall asleep. Or maybe he was just playing with me. I don't know. I'll never know. I made it to the car, drove all the way home, and didn't stop once. That night changed something in me, because now, no matter how deep into the woods I go, I always have the feeling that someone's watching. Have you experienced something you can't explain? A strange encounter? A night you'll never forget? Send me your story. It might be featured in an upcoming video. This happened back in 2014. I live in a quiet town surrounded by dense woods and small campgrounds, most of them about an hour out in any direction. I had a 4-day weekend off from work and hadn't been outside in a while. So I figured I'd spend it solo camping, something calm and simple. The place I chose was small, one of those old campgrounds where you park on a dirt lot and walk a short trail to reach the campsites. There were only 3 designated spots, each with an old fire pit, a broken down bench, and a rusty grill nobody ever used. All 3 sites were empty. I picked the one furthest to the left and brought my stuff over. It was only about a 5-minute walk from my truck, but the trees were thick enough that it felt like I was deep in the woods. The nearest town was a 45-minute drive away. After setting up my tent, I just sat there. That's when I realized I had no idea what to do. I didn't bring a book, no trails, no lake, just me and the trees. So I walked back to the lot to see if there was anything nearby I'd missed. That's when I noticed the car, a red Toyota, really old. The paint was chipped and rusted, dents all over the doors, and weirdest of all, no license plates, not on the front, not on the back. I stood there for a second, just staring at it. No one else was around, and it hadn't been there when I arrived. I tried to shake the feeling, figured maybe someone was just bad at maintaining their car or camping off-trail somewhere. So I walked back to my site and sat on a log. Not 10 minutes later, I heard footsteps behind me. I turned around, walking down the trail toward me. No backpack, no gear, just a stained brown jacket, torn in multiple places. His beard and hair were oily and unkempt, like he hadn't showered in weeks. He looked like he was in his 30s, but something about him made him seem older, more worn out. "Hey," he called out, "you wouldn't happen to be able to help me with something real quick, would you?" I didn't have much going on, so I stood up and said, "Sure," but then he quickly added, "Not right now. I just wanted to ask if you'd be cool with it. I've got some things to do first. I'll come back when I'm ready." I hesitated, but I said okay. He thanked me again with a strange smile, then walked back up the trail and vanished into the woods. I waited, figured he just needed to unpack or move something from his car, but time passed. Half an hour, then another. By then, the sun had started to go down. 2 hours later, I'd forgotten about the whole thing. I had a fire going and was cooking dinner when I heard it again. Footsteps coming from behind me. Slow, crunching the gravel path leading to my sight. But this time I couldn't see anything. He was still in the dark. I could hear him getting closer, step by step, but the forest was pitch black behind the fire's glow. Then he stepped into the light. Same man, same torn jacket. He was smiling again, too widely. "You ready? Still need a little help?" he said. "With what exactly?" I asked. He ignored the question, just looked around casually and said, "It'll only take a minute. You don't look too busy." Something about the way he said it made my stomach drop, but my awkwardness got the better of me. I nodded. I followed him. We left the glow of my fire behind, and I quickly realized how dark it was. No flashlight, no moon, just shadows and the sound of our footsteps. I asked again, "So, what is it you need help with?" He slowed down, but he didn't answer, just kept walking. My body started screaming at me that something was wrong, very wrong. The woods felt too quiet. No wind, no crickets, nothing. I started to slow down, quietly, trying to put some distance between us. He noticed. He stopped, turned around slowly, that same smile still plastered on his face. Only this time, it faded quickly into a scowl. Then, without a word, he reached into his jacket, and that's when I saw it, the handle of something, metal, dark. I turned and ran, hard. I could hear him chasing me, pounding through the woods, his breathing heavy and erratic, branches slapping against my arms and face, my lungs burning. I didn't know where I was going, just away. After maybe 2 minutes, the sounds behind me started to fade. then stopped altogether. I kept running. Eventually, when I couldn't hear anything but my own gasps, I pulled out my phone and dialed 911. The police met me back at the campground. My truck was still there. The red Toyota was gone, and so was the man. I told them everything, how the car had no plates, how the man looked, what he was wearing. They searched the area, took notes, but there wasn't much else they could do. I think about it a lot, about what almost happened, about how he waited until after dark to come back, about how he planned it. He came during the day so I'd see him, so I'd trust him, so I'd follow him without thinking. He knew exactly what he was doing. And I wonder if anyone else has, or if I was just lucky. If you enjoy these kinds of stories, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. New true horror stories every week. You never know when one might hit a little too close to home. This happened in Arizona not too long ago. I was camping in a remote area, one of those completely empty sites off a wide, unpaved desert road. No other cars, no towns nearby, just miles of nothing in every direction. It was quiet, isolated, peaceful in that eerie kind of way. Sometime deep into the night, probably around 2 a.m., I woke up to a sound. Gravel, crunching under tires. A car. I sat up inside my tent, groggy, trying to make sense of it. I listened as it passed by. The sound faded. Then, a minute later, it came back. Slower this time. That alone was enough to raise my pulse. I stayed still, listening. Then I heard it again. This time, looping around, the tires grinding into the dirt, circling. And then the headlights hit us directly. The car had stopped about 40 feet away, aimed straight at our tents. The beams lit everything up, and then nothing. They just sat there. No one got out. No engine revving. No honk. Just uncomfortable silence. Those headlights stayed locked on us for what felt like forever, at least a few minutes, which out there at that hour, in the middle of nowhere, is not normal, not even close. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I just stared through the tent wall, heart pounding, waiting. Eventually, the light shut off. The car turned around and drove off. I have no idea who it was or what they wanted, but I know this: people don't just do that, not by accident. Not at 2 a.m., not out there. And the scariest part is, they knew